Abduction and murder. A local nurse kidnapped and taken all the way to Louisiana. Her mother was killed. And it all ended in a shootout with the FBI. Andrew Horansky reports on a story that plays out like an episode of Dateline. Also, vaccine approved. The UK becomes the first Western country to get the okay for coronavirus preventative shots. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins on what's next for the United States. And stuff the truck drive.
To be a parent to children who don't have parents.
The 3 News Initiative, committed to delivering smiles and joy this holiday season. Laura Queso with how you can help families in need.
From the WKYC studios, this is What's Next.
Thanks for joining us this Wednesday night. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Betsy Kling. Sarah is off tonight. We begin with an update on a Cuyahoga Falls woman who disappeared nearly a week ago.
She had been missing since Thanksgiving, but tonight she is on her way home. A local nurse who triggered a national search. But as Andrew Horansky explains, this is far from a happy ending.
The plea on Facebook prompted prayers and then shares after Cuyahoga Falls police first showed the face of 45-year-old Nicole Branowski, a mother and nurse who went missing around Thanksgiving.
We really couldn't ask for a better result than her being found alive.
Today, investigators revealed they finally found her on Tuesday in Pineville, Louisiana at this hotel. And she wasn't alone. With her was 47-year-old James Hawley of Cleveland, a suspect in the Thanksgiving Day murder of Branowski's mother, 69-year-old Norma Matko. Investigators believe Hawley had kidnapped Branowski, then drove her more than 100 miles away, where he shot and killed her mother. And for them, it was also personal.
These were good people, are good people, and we live beside, we're neighbors. So it does come on.
While they'll never get to question their suspect, because a shootout at the hotel left James Hawley dead and an FBI agent injured. And though agents say Hawley and Branowski knew each other, they cannot say what sparked this.
As with any investigation, we are very much interested in learning the why behind the violent acts.
Adding, it will take time for Branowski to heal. She worked as a clinical coordinator at Akron Children's and a district nurse for Akron schools. The district superintendent released a statement expressing gratitude and relief for Nicole. Our best thoughts are with her and her family as they reunited and process all that has happened, it read. Nicole's colleagues at Akron Children's are happy and relieved, a statement from there read. We commend all of the law enforcement teams involved in her recovery. The investigation is not over, and one thing it will focus on is Hawley's social media accounts, where he went by a different name, posted pictures of himself with guns, and said he's not afraid to kill. In Cleveland, I'm Andrew Horansky, 3 News.
We have an update on that teacher strike we told you about last night. It is off. Today, the Cleveland Heights University Heights School District reached a tentative agreement with its teachers union. The teachers had been pushing back against changes to their health care and retirement benefits. Specific details of the deal have not been made public as of yet. Next, the union's rank and file has to ratify, then the school board will have to sign off.
Now to the latest coronavirus numbers in Ohio. Today, the state reported 7,835 new cases as the Ohio Department of Health continues to work through thousands of backlogged reports that still have to be reviewed. And 13 states are now on Ohio's travel advisory list, and Ohio itself is one of them. That means those traveling within the state of Ohio should self-quarantine for 14 days. That's the same advice given as when folks are traveling to other states with positivity rates above 15%. And for the first time since the start of the pandemic, more than 100,000 people are hospitalized across the U.S. with COVID-19. But the global scramble for a vaccine continues, and today, the United Kingdom approved the Pfizer vaccine for emergency use. It's the first Western country to do so. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins looks at their rollout plan and what this means for the United States.
It's the news it seems the world has been waiting for. UK citizens will be the first to get the 95% effective Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine.
It's a historic day. I have to admit, I feel that it is a historic day. It's indeed the beginning of the end of the pandemic.
British health officials gave the vaccine emergency use authorization, similar to what's expected here next week. But not everyone is excited to get it. Polling suggests 58% of Americans are likely to get vaccinated, but 42% say they won't. Experts say at least 70% need the vaccine to achieve community immunity. But this virus and the remedies it quickly created caused many to question confidence in the safety.
Because those strict tests have been done and complied with, and everyone can be absolutely confident that no corners whatsoever have been cut.
But the word of scientists isn't enough, so Britain, in a public message push called the Vaccine Confidence Project, aims to combat the influence of anti-vaccine groups, especially prevalent and unregulated on social media.
There's been a lot of attention to fast, warp speed, but the reality is they're faster because we have new technologies.
Not only that, governments have poured billions of dollars into pharmaceutical companies to get these vaccines out of the labs and into people. It's an unprecedented global effort that helps speed up a process that typically takes years.
2020 has been just awful, and 2021 is going to be better, and help is on its way.
Monica Robbins, 3 News.
Well, as for what's next for the vaccine here in the U.S., here's the latest. A panel of independent experts will meet next Thursday on December 10th to review Pfizer's data and make a recommendation to the FDA about authorizing the vaccine. The federal government expects to get the first shipments of the vaccine this month.
The CDC has also shortened the recommended quarantine period for those exposed to COVID-19. Now the agency says quarantine can end after 10 days without a test and no symptoms. Or if a person gets a negative test with no symptoms, then they can end quarantine after 7 days. The CDC still encourages all who are exposed to monitor symptoms for 2 weeks. And in regard to the upcoming holidays, the agency is urging everyone to avoid travel if possible.
Well, tonight we've learned that more local schools are moving to remote learning due to the COVID-19 surge. Kenston and Chardon local schools will move to full remote starting Monday, December 7th. You can find a total list of all the schools that have moved online on WKYC.com or on the WKYC app.
Here at 3 News, we are committed to delivering smiles and joy this holiday season, and you can help. Our Stuff the Truck drive is in full gear, and families like the one you're about to meet are benefiting from your generosity. Laura Queso has the story.
Sounds of the holidays, but for some, the jingle of the bells is taking on a different tune this year.
He was an amazing kid.
Martina Calloway lost her son Quazon 1 month ago. It started with a bad stomachache and ultimately led to heart failure. A son who cared for her during her darkest days. She's battling breast cancer.
We talked every morning. And if he called me and I didn't answer, he would blow my phone up until I answered and say, "Hey, lady, don't scare me like that. You don't answer your phone."
At 31 years old, Quazon leaves behind 4 children and a fiance.
He actually was supposed to have been getting married Christmas.
His fiancée could not wait to walk down the aisle to the man who provided for his family. A student at MLK, a Barbara Byrd Bennett Scholars for Life recipient, Quazon was a truck driver. He delivered endless love to so many, including Councilman Bashir Jones.
Quazon was like my little brother.
Jones delivered Quazon's eulogy.
You walked into a room and you knew he was there. And when he left, you knew he was gone.
And his presence will be forever missed. Now a family doing their best to celebrate this holiday season.
I told him, I say, I'm working on getting y'all some Christmas because I hadn't been working since February because of cancer.
Martina says her grandchildren have Christmas lists this year, and Santa will deliver with your help and the 3 News Stuff the Truck drive.
It's to be a parent to children who don't have parents. And that's what I'm asking from each and every one of you out there. That even though Quay can't physically do for his children, that it's up to us to step in there, to step in and be the parents that they need.
A time to sprinkle some holiday cheer on those who need it most this year, so that the jingle of the bells take on the true meaning of joy, happiness, and love. If you want to help families like Martina's, we are asking you to donate a toy to the Stuff the Truck Drive, set for 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. this Saturday, December 5th, at Ohio City Square on the corner of West 25th Street and Lorraine Road in Cleveland. It's a drive-through event and contactless. Just pop the trunk and Santa's elves will grab your unwrapped gift. If you want to learn more, go to WKYC.com/3cares. You can help us make a difference. Laura Queso, 3 News.
Yes, please help if you can. Coming up, cracking down on emotional support animals on planes. We'll tell you about the new rule which will limit which animals are allowed to be on your next flight.
Plus, the festivities may have looked a little different, but the 30 Rock tree is officially lit in New York, and it still has plenty to say, thanks to a Northeast Ohio native. Hear from the man behind the scenes of 30 Rock's tree's Twitter account. And we'll also take a look at the forecast. It's clear and starlit tonight. That means it's going to be cold. But what lies ahead? What's next for the forecast? I have those details.
What's Next is sponsored by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
Let's get you into the loop with a look at some of the national stories we're following. The Boeing 737 MAX 8 jet is closer to returning to commercial service after being grounded for almost 2 years. American Airlines flew one of its MAX 8 planes out of Dallas-Fort Worth to Tulsa and will resume regular service with the MAX 8 later this month. In all, 387 of the MAX 8 planes were grounded in early 2019 after a series of incidents and 2 deadly crashes. It looks like dogs are the only service animals allowed to fly on passenger planes. The Department of Transportation ruled that emotional support animals are no longer considered service animals. This ends the era of emotional support pigs or peacocks coming onto planes. The change takes effect in 30 days. And another streaming service will be hitting the market next year. Discovery Plus with ads will be $4.99 a month, and a plan without ads will be $6.99 a month. Verizon customers are going to be able to get it free for a year. Discovery Plus debuts January 4th, 2021.
It is a big night in the world of Christmas traditions. The lighting ceremony for the 30 Rock tree was held in New York City. Perhaps you watched it right here on Channel 3. You may not know the tree has an unofficial Twitter account, and it's run by a man from Northeast Ohio. The page is pretty clever. Today, for instance, the tree continued its friendly feud with the Today Show's Al Roker, saying it did not need another rehearsal before the lighting. Everyone involved is good at what they do, but it did question exactly what it is Roker does. The Twitter 30 Rock tree is actually Matt Hayes. He's an Olmsted Falls native. He told us why he decided to become the tree's social media parody voice.
A friend of mine sent me a photo of the tree as it was coming on in for the year, and I just was kind of intrigued by the backstory that I was reading about it. It's this tree that comes from a tiny little town, gets brought into the city with a big police escort, put up, decked out, gets a big TV show, literally a million people every day come by to take a selfie with it. And I thought, there's a story in there in some way, shape, or form. And I just kind of started, I opened up Twitter, created an account, and started what this thing is today.
Hayes lived in New York for 10 years. He now lives in Puerto Rico, where he runs a production company. And as I said, it is pretty clever. Tonight, before the ceremony, he tweeted, spoiler alert, I get lit at the end. Pretty good. You check it out if you can. It's called 30 Rock Tree.
Since it's 11 o'clock, is this the time of day when we can actually say there's quite a few people on Twitter that tweet out that they're going to be lit by the end of the evening?
Betsy Kling said that, not me.
It's just the way it goes, right? Just
keeping it real.
Social media. All right, let's take a look at the forecast. We had a gorgeous day today. Plenty of sunshine. What a nice calm after the storm, right? Big breath of relief. Sun came out, got the melting going. Well, tonight, the concern is that all of that freshly melted snow, aka water, is going to freeze up as temperatures drop back into the 20s under these clear skies. By afternoon, though, we'll be back into the 40s and then settle into the 30s for the evening. But we are sitting at 29 right now, Worcester, Akron, Canton, still about 32 or so, right at that freezing mark around a good part of the area. The wind is what is helping us out tonight. We still have that westerly, southwesterly breeze at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. If that were calm, we would be talking basement temperatures. So the wind is actually a good thing, even though it offsets and we end up having that wind chill effect going on. There are a few clouds here and there across the Great Lakes region, but we have mostly clear skies in northeast Ohio. These clouds dropping south are kind of a big part of our forecast once we get to Friday and Saturday. That's the leading edge of some colder air that's dropping in, and that colder air is going to connect up with this storm system that's down in the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. That is going to head east. Now, this is almost exactly the same scenario that we had last weekend, and we were like, ooh, we were shaking the bells, right? Well, keep in mind, this is a completely different scenario because this storm system is going to go toward the east coast. It's going to go up the east side of the Appalachians and head north. That becomes a nor'easter. It takes us out of the moisture, so we don't have a major snowstorm coming. But there are folks who do, and watch how this all starts to unfold as we go through the rest of the week. Here comes that cold air, and you can see we do bring in a chance for some rain-snow mix by the time we get into Friday, but the nor'easter starts roaring northeastward, and look at the snow that cranks up in parts of New England. Meanwhile, we're going to end up with some lake effect light snow flurries for the day on Saturday. We're still in the festive time of year. Not a big deal for us, and especially after we've had 2 feet of snow in some places. But certainly it does look like by Sunday and then into next week we should start the recovery process. National Design-Mar hour-by-hour forecast showing you that tomorrow we will be making it back into the 40s. I think low to mid 40s in some locations. More sun. That's good news. We will have some clouds passing through, but keep in mind the melting is going to take place tonight. And when you step out the door in the morning, if your sidewalks were wet today, they may be frozen tomorrow morning, so keep that in mind. Do the shuffle, the ice shuffle. Here's a look at your Ken Ganley Kia outlook. Temperatures are going to be in the low 40s for Friday, and rain-snow mix comes in, just what I showed you. Then we'll have some scattered lake effect flurries for Saturday. Not a big deal for us. We'll stay a little cool with variably cloudy skies expected on Sunday. A few snow showers are possible on Monday, and then look what happens next week. Rain chances do return, but the temperatures start to take off on us once again. We're going to be in the low and mid 40s for the majority of next week and as we head in toward next weekend, Russ.
I like that, Betsy. That's a new dance you made up there, the Betsy Shuffle. Is that what that was?
It's not the Betsy Shuffle. That's the ice shuffle.
Oh, okay. All right. Just checking. Thanks. Coming up, Sunday's Browns game will be a matchup of two of the best running backs in the league. Jimmy will break it all down for us next.
This sports report is sponsored by the people-pleasing people at Serra Auto Park in Akron.
Hi, everybody. It is the biggest game of the season for the Browns coming up Sunday in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans. They are both 8-3. And if you want to see running backs, this is the game to watch. We have two of them. They have one. We have Kareem Hunt and we have Nick Chubb. Chubb, remember, he missed 4 games with that knee injury, and yet he's still over 700 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns, ready to go this Sunday.
I mean, we do expect it to be a physical game because, I mean, they're a physical team. They're like to, line up and you know what they're going to run. They run it, and it's hard to stop. I mean, they're a great team, so it'll be physical, but who knows exactly what will happen.
Now they have Derrick Henry. He won the rushing title. He edged out Chubb on the last Sunday of the regular season last year. He's already over 1,200 yards rushing. He had 178 last week against the Colts and 3 touchdowns. His teammates, they lean on him.
He does it week in and week out. His consistency is very admirable. Just his ability to play physical week in and week out, take hits, and be seemingly unfazed by him. So definitely want to keep him rolling as we get here deep into December.
Hey, I hope you watched the Ravens Steelers on Channel 3 this afternoon. From Heinz Field, RG3 got the start. Lamar Jackson out, suffering from a positive COVID-19 test. RG3 picked off. Who is that? It's Joe Hayden. A pick 6 for the Steelers. Now, Ravens down the entire game. They got close with 3 minutes to go. Trace McSorley, a 70-yard touchdown pass to Marquise Brown, but the Steelers win to remain undefeated, and the Ravens drop to 6-5. Here's the AFC playoff picture. The Steelers at 11-0. They're in. The Browns are in right now. They're in the number 5 spot. 7 teams make it in. That's why this Sunday's game becomes so big for the Browns. If they could win it, they're in great shape. Let's talk a little Indians baseball right now. 3 of the Indians become free agents today because the Indians did not offer them contracts. The first one might surprise you. Tyler Naquin The Indians did not offer him a contract before the deadline, so he's a free agent. He's been with the Indians since 2016, but he only hit .218 last year and fought injuries again. Delino DeShields and Jeffrey Rodriguez also became free agents from the Indians, as the Indians are trimming salary, it looks like. College football, Kent State will not play this Saturday in Oxford against Miami of Ohio. COVID outbreak there. So Kent State will not play that game. They'll have one game remaining in their regular season. That's coming up on December 12th. They'll play at Ohio University. Kent State is 3-1 on the season. That's sports. Here's Russ.
Will not play, unfortunately, a phrase you have had to use a lot this season, Jimmy.
Absolutely. And Russ, we're keeping our eyes on Ohio State and Michigan State, and hopefully the Buckeyes will get that game in East Lansing Saturday.
Okay. Jimmy, thanks a lot. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
When we come back, we'll tell you how one group hopes to light up the night for local healthcare workers. Stay with us.
It's that time of year, and 3 News wants to see your holiday lights. You can send pictures and video to us right from your phone with the WKYC app. Just select what you want to send, then hit share, scroll over to more, and select the app. Or open up the app, tap Near Me, and share with us to upload it that way. Tell us a little bit about what you're sharing, how we can get in touch with you to let you know if we use it on TV or online, and when you send us your photos and videos this way, they are automatically added to our Near Me map in the app. Just set the filters for what you want to see and enjoy Northeast Ohio's holiday lights. It really is that easy. This is Stephanie Haney for 3 News.
Well, tonight there was a Christmas tree lighting ceremony to celebrate all of the caregivers on the front line of this pandemic this holiday season. This is a look at the annual light display outside of St. Vincent Charity Medical Center. This year's lights were in jeopardy due to the financial constraints from the pandemic until a group of donors came together to fund the display. They said it's a thank you to all the frontline healthcare workers who are serving as beacons of hope and, of course, light for the community.
Wow, that's
So
really
cool.
pretty. Look at that.
Yeah. Glad they could get it all worked out. We have such an amazing community and everybody kind of wrapping their arms around some of our treasured places here in Northeast Ohio to help out.
Yeah, of course. Have you been downtown and see the lights at the Public Square yet?
I have.
Oh,
my eyeballs were on the window just looking. It was so beautiful. It's always amazing.
Pretty stunning, certainly. Good night to you,
Russ,
Betsy.
It does it for us, right?
It does. Look at that.
Yep.
Terminal Tower lit up. That looks gorgeous as well. 3 News Go begins at 4:30 a.m. Good night to all. We will see you tomorrow.
Thank you for spending the evening with 3 News. Watch us live wherever you are, on our website, on our apps, and on YouTube, Hulu, or Roku. It's 3 News, wherever, whenever.